to Think Big with Dan and Qasim, and our guest today is Elie. So, Elie, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Yes. So, hi everyone. My name is Elie Haddad. I started the company called Clever Pays. I live in Montreal. I'm 32 years old, and I'm excited to give you more information about, my how do you call it? My track record, if you want to say it this way, right?
Awesome. So, do you mind sharing a little bit more about your company, Clever Pays, like what exactly you do, and also how the idea came to life?
Sure. So CleverPay is a payment processing company. There's a lot of ways that brought me to start CleverPays. Number one is my experience in businesses, and number two is I always had that envy, if you want to call it, to start a business that's gonna require the least amount of work eventually with time, and that's gonna be providing a recurring income all the time, right? So now CleverPays operates in the United States and Canada, and we're looking forward to expand over Europe, having about 2,000 merchants on board right now. And so the way it started, actually, I have to admit that since young age, my brain was focused on making money. That was my main focus, like underage, right? I was at high school. I was buying, example, bulk of cell phones and on eBay, repairing them, whatever needs to be repaired. And at break time, I used to sell them to my classmates and even teachers. They used to wait in line next to to my cabinet, and then I open at the break time and choose whatever you want, pay for it, and that's it. And then years later, still underage, I started thinking that I need to collect more time instead of money, right? If I could slow down my pace of time as much as possible, but make the most out of it, that would be my ideal income, right? So, for example, say that human being will do the very least possible to get to his goals, right? If you, for example, you want to go to New York from Texas, will you go driving or will you take a plane? Right? You'll take a flight, you'll take a plane. So you do the very least possible, the most comfortable thing to get to your goals. So I wanted to do the most in the beginning to be able to give the least of my time eventually and having an income. And I thought in the beginning that it would be only with real estate that you could have recurring income. So no mentors, nothing at the time. I was in college, so I had two jobs, trying to save money as much as possible. No direct mentors other than books and videos and podcasts like yours, right? Where I could listen to people. And so thanks for having this podcast. And I'm all about helping others. So I believe in perfect equality of the universe, meaning whatever you put into it will come back, like the famous teachings we hear in self-development books. Give others what they want, so you shall receive what you want. So yeah, and then from saving money to real estate, I started investing in stock market. Didn't go well. Again, I had no mentors. Then I started venturing myself, business ventures. It didn't go well at a point that I did a personal bankruptcy back about 5, 6 years ago, right? I took about $300,000 in loan from the bank, from credit cards, from projects that I really believed in, because I believe that if you have fear in something, you will not go far in life, right? So be fearless, try. You have one life, don't waste it. Just try to make the most out of it. I failed, but that failure got me to where I am today. Because from that failure, from the little money I had, back in 2016, I had a little bit in cryptocurrency. What happened in 2017, that crypto went to the roof. So I was able to get a good part out of it, and then I started the payment processing with it, and then the rest is history. So from my experiences, from teachings, from self-development, and I've been to a lot of self-development seminars, by the way, and that really helped me a lot. I was able to build a team, train them like twice a week from 6 to 10 p.m., 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., Tuesday and Thursday. for a whole complete year. And now I'm proud to say that not only the company is successful, but all of our people are financially free. And that's the most important part, is helping.
That's amazing. So, and I'll
Cool.
tell you right now, actually, for me also, like I had a startup where I failed and I actually met Qasim. That's how we started this company. So he was my developer for my startup. I'm like, let's start a different company. So I can relate to that 100%. And I think it goes like you just have to go and try things. And sometimes, if you take those risks, you never know the connection that you make. And obviously, like I met Qasim. So I would ask, so I guess in terms of Clever Page, right? What specifically differentiates you from your competition? Like what makes you better than your competitors?
Very good. So number one, our merchants don't have only our 1-888 number. They have our direct cell phone numbers. So they call us as a friend. So all of our rep manages a certain book of people, and then they know them by name. So we don't have to ask them, what's your merchant ID number? What's your. It's like, hey, John, I have an issue with this. Can you help me fix it? Or, hey, John, I have to change my banking. Can you help me do it? So we have that extra service, number one. Number two, we educate the merchants about the fees. If you ask 95% of the merchant, they don't know what they're paying for, right? Which portion goes to the bank, which portion goes to the payment processor. So we go with transparency and we tell them, hey, that's a cost and that's a markup we'll be taking. Are you comfortable with it? And then on top of that, why are you taking this markup? Well, not one, we're saving you. Number two, we're providing an extra service than just a 1-800 number where you have to call in for your stuff. You could text in, you could WhatsApp, you could video call, or you could call in your rep at any time of the day and he'll answer you, right? And if he doesn't, he's on vacation. Happens, he's a human being. We have the 1-800 number as a backup, not as a primary line. Right? So that what makes our difference. And then we are mostly solution oriented than just price selling. I'll give you an example. If we walk into a pizza shop and we look at, hey, this guy has an employee problems, right? And we could potentially save him, for example, $400 a month. I wouldn't push the saving first. I would use that saving, stay in his budget at what he's currently paying, offer him a kiosk, for example, offer him online ordering, anything that would generate sales without feeling the need of having that extra employee, right? So saving on labor, providing more sales by staying in the budget. So that's our focus, like solution oriented mostly. And that what makes our success.
Cool. Cool. And so what is the most satisfying moment in your business?
The most satisfying moment is when the merchant comes and say, hey, you really thought out of the box, right? For me. And then because of you, we're having a way easier, a more easier way of operating our business, right? Or having better reports or having more sales because of the solution you brought in. So this is the most satisfying thing. It's not even the signature of it. It's the fact that the merchant comes back and say, thank you for being here. That's the most satisfying part of it.
Nice. And how do one know if my goals are too conservative or them too ambitious?
For us, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In fact, I'm asking you a question just because everybody whoever is listening this,
sure,
they will be going to map it on themselves.
sure. So I believe, Cassie, that your life is like a blank white paper. You get to draw whatever you imagine on it, and
Mm-hmm.
we believed in the beginning that we would get to this point, but not as fast as we did. So now that we did, we believe that anything we put on that paper is doable. All you have to do is just write up your end goal, what you want, and then dress a plan. And once you do that, dress your plan from your end goal. So start with your end goal and then dress the plan. How are you going to achieve that end goal, right? And if you're blocking at some steps, ask for help. For example, we know we want to go, in the beginning, wanted to go to the US, right? So that's our end goal, be present in the US, having that X number of merchants in the US. Then we start asking for help here from people, starting with merchants. Who do you know over there? Okay, we know it's doable. We start acquiring merchants over there. Then what do we need to get mass volume? Okay, we need Facebook ads. We need, social media ads and all that. Okay, so who can we ask that is good with it? So through the relationship of our network, we've been presented to people that fitted the puzzles perfectly of what we needed. So put your angle, dress your steps, step-by-step action, and ask for help if needed.
Great. And what do you think how technology may impact the business in good and bad manner? And you can map it on your business.
Oh, in our business, I think is going to impact it very good. So, for example, the presence of AI, for example, is going to help us detect fraud at an unbelievable faster rate than just having those regular systems, right? So having the artificial intelligence presence today is going to help us provide, number one, more security, and number two, more technology as well in our functionalities of our devices, because we don't just provide payment processing, right? We provide a complete solution from POS embedded in a payment solution. So I think the technology is going to help us offer something better, way better in the market.
Right now, what extent of AI you are using in your business? Like, are you getting an analysis from this AI tool, or you are using it for increasing your sales, or for the insights of the company?
So currently, I couldn't give you an output of, because we are in the early stage of it. So we are currently experimenting it. But from what I knew from technology, if you're in the tech space, any new technology coming, if you adapt it really quick, it couldn't do more but helping you, right? But you have to be an early adapter.
And you are one of them.
Yes.
That's good. Yeah, in fact, people are mostly change resistant. So that's why most of the time they are not able to adapt the new technology that is coming along. And they're like, maybe there are a lot of flaws in it. People just thinking about it, maybe some fraud, but obviously most of the time this is for an immense help in your business. Okay, so do you use social media as well for the networking, and obviously you will be using this for networking, but for the advertising as well?
Yes, of course. We're going to be using the AI for any aspect of it, of the business, totally.
I'm asking, like, you are using AI for the social media as well, right?
Yes, so we'll be using AI for social media. We are not
Good.
using it right now. We are using some sort of it, so creating ads, for example, but managing the ads we're going to this point, because we're more focusing on the usage of AI for the technology of the product more than using it for the social. And social media has not been the main focus for our income anyway. So that's why we're not putting much focus on it. It's just to bring a brand awareness more than anything, because the way we acquire customers currently is by building a relation with people face to face, right? So we have people out there on the road exposing themselves, exposing the company to merchant on a face to face basis. And I believe that this has way more impact than just an ad on Facebook. So that's our main focus so far.
So when it comes to face, are you usually going to trade shows, or where are you meeting your customers?
So 99% of our operation is a door-to-door. So they go, they knock on door, they ask for a meeting because they know that merchant is not expecting them. So they tell them what's the purpose of their presence. They book a meeting and they show up the next time, right? But at least they see a face instead of having a phone call. Hey, I want to sell you this. They hung up on you, right? A face-to-face is always, in my opinion, a more pleasant approach than just having a phone call or seeing an ad on Facebook. But yes, we do also go on trade shows, goes on event, but those stuff is more like we put it as more as a brand awareness than hoping to merchants. We're just want to expose the brand in those shows.
So when it comes to going door to door, I think it's a very good strategy. And as you mentioned, thinking outside the box, I think most people don't think about doing that in 2023. Can you talk more about, how much more effective that is compared to cold calling, for example?
Oh, it is way more effective than cold calls. In the sense that on a door-to-door basis, the number goes with the following. So let's say you meet with 40 people, 40 lead in a day, right? And then out of the 40, you're probably going to meet about 12 business owners in that day that are present in their business. Out of the 12, you're probably going to book uh, 4 or 5 meetings, and the other seven will say, like, let me think about it. So four of five that you book, 4 or 5. Out of the 4 or 5, your closing ratio, once you get the meeting, our closing ratio is about 90%.
Wow,
So it's very, very effective.
that's amazing. So in terms of right now, what does a typical day look like for you in your business?
So for me, what it used to look like is I had a small office, about 400 square foot. I used to sleep in my office the first 6 months. So I used to do calls at 6 a.m., call in the east coast of Canada, right? Because over there, like, they're 2 hours in front of us. So if it's 6 a.m. in Montreal, over there it's 8. So I used to do calls at 8, 8 in the morning their time for 3 hours. And then at 9, I used to hit the road, do door to door myself in the area. And then at 5, go back to the office and call in the west. 5 to 9, calling the west side. So Vancouver, Saskatchewan, those areas. And I used to, like, I wanted to be the most effective in my time. And I needed that to provide an example to the new people that came in, right? And then I lead it by example, and now today they're doing almost the same thing that I did. So in the beginning, they used to do what I did. Now they just do door to door. They get referrals left and right. So they are more like, riding the wave instead of being on the grind mode. Because, as I said, they are all now, financially free out of it. So whatever they do is just an extra for them. It just adds up.
That's awesome. So I guess as of right now, you're saying that your team is still mostly doing door-to-door hours. They're not even doing any cold call or cold email, anything like that, right? It's all door-to-door.
Correct. So cold emails, nothing like that. Yes, I'm thinking of, starting a department for that, just to bring them leads so they could have more leads, sitting at the comfort of their home instead of, having to go out of their way and doing door to door. Because they deserve it at the end, right? They helped me build this company. And then, we're all free because of all our work together. So if I can help in a certain way, provide them, and a platter, and they and they do what they need to do with it, that would be perfect.
What would you say is your number one priority in the next 3 to 6 months for your business?
Number one priority is figuring out the AI part of it, and then number two is expanding what's it called, uh, the cold emails like we talked about, expanding also the cold approach, but not from the rep, not from us, but from a separate division that's going to take care of having the cold approach, cold email sends, and bring the leads in to the rep. So that's a system I want to put in place within the next 3 to 6 months, and having a big brand awareness on social media, because we built all that without almost close to none brand awareness. And let me ask you this question: how did you find us first?
I think actually one of our SDRs was just scraping, data of, companies, and they're like, okay, you guys are cool. And I don't know, you have to ask him. I could say his name is Mateen. So I don't know. He found you guys somehow, and he's like, this company's cool. Let's get him on the podcast. All right, sure. Yeah, it sounds good to me. So that's how he found you. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you see, I'm even surprised because I know we don't have that much brand awareness, but if you come to our local market, a lot of people knows about us. So that's good.
That's really cool. So I guess in terms of like if we're gonna have this conversation again in 1 year from now, where do you think things are gonna go with your business? Like, where do you expect things to go with your business?
So I'm expecting to have at least 50% of our presence in Montreal, have it in the US, and having a full sales force focusing just for the US market. And then from there, I could, copy paste and do it in other countries. So now I think the struggle is to be able to find perfect formula to easily copy paste your operation from a city in a country to another and do it again and do it again. Once you figure out that formula, the expansion shouldn't be a problem.
That's awesome. So I guess what is the one biggest piece of advice that you have for any aspiring entrepreneurs watching this?
Do not fear. Try, and honestly, I you just don't fear and try, because the moment you start fearing, you're losing control over your life, and you're losing opportunities that you might not know that could come out of your way. And expose yourself, right? Go to business seminars, go to networking event, even if you don't have anything to offer, just making those connections. Because I remember my college teacher used to tell me back in the days, he used to say there's something way more important than this piece of paper. I'm like, what is it? He's like, contacts. And that stayed into my mind. So expose yourself, don't have fear, and meet people. And then from learning and listening to what they do, you'll have your own ideas and build up yourself, your own business.
Amazing advice. So if somebody watching this wanted to find your company, can you share your website and or social media handles as well?
Sure, it's www.cleverpays.ca. Yeah, cleverpays, pays with an S.ca. So that's our website being revamped at the moment. So if you look at it, that's a website that we built 3 years ago. It should be done in about a week or two, so you'll see a way better website. So something at the accuracy of what we provide today.
And what's like your,
Cool.
I mean, Instagram or whatever social media handles that you usually use?
We actually use Cleverpays as Instagram. So you'll see a blue logo with the CP. So it's a white logo with big CP in blue in the middle. So you'll find us on Instagram using Cleverpays, or on Facebook as well. If you have any questions or any suggestions, if I can help or give you any type of advice, it will be a pleasure.
Well, thank you so much. I learned a lot, but I really, your story is amazing, and I'm wishing you the best of luck. We're rooting for you, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Qasim. It was nice meeting you guys.
Nice meeting you.
Be in
Thank you.
contact. Bye
All
bye.
right, thanks. All
Thank
right,
you.
bye.
Bye-bye.